border problem.
Yeah.
In theory, you can fake, can't you? Like if you say, like, okay, I'm in Germany. Or just if you're in Germany.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, so.
It's because you have this closed world that you sort of make up, and you have this suspension of disbelief. You just say, okay, we believe everything that's happening on stage at this moment because that's what we came here for. That's what we do.
Yeah, I suppose art is to take you somewhere that you're not normally. Even a painting that is really successful, I think, in the moment that a viewer is looking at it and allows themselves to be involved with it. They have to be, but they often are taken away, taken out of their body almost into another world, and then they come back.
Yeah.
But when they come back from that world, hopefully some of that world stays in them, and they carry it, and it affects what they do.
So it doesn't stay in my mind. Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I wonder how, coming out of the other world of the toilet, in our daily lives.
Well, I said this will not be one piece that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
I wonder what happens if one of us has to go to the loo. Should we go there? Make it a piece of performance art.
So far, I'm okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So we will demonstrate our art.
Yes. Are you callous? How long have you been in London?
2.5 years.
Oh, right. And have you worked in Japan as well as an artist?
I did exhibition, but not really.
But you do fashion design?
No, costume at the moment.
Costume design, okay, cool.
Is that for the theatre? Both.
First year for the theatre, second year for the film, third year graduation theatre performance is the actual.
And do you find that there's like big differences sort of in the way that art is perceived, or like do you find you look at things differently because you're from a different culture here, or I don't know, do you just not?
I don't know, well, education system is quite different, so I don't know if it's the way I think it's different from the other, or just the education system of mine are different from the college. I don't know, but I think they're quite different.
I spent some time in Hachioji. I don't know if where are you from in Japan?
Ehime.
Where?
Ehime.
Ehime.
Small city in South.
Okay.
I learned some Japanese. Yabai.
What's your line?
Wicked.
No,
Yabai is not wicked.
Is it not? I was so wrong.
what does it mean?
If you're in danger, or if you feel some pressure on you, you just say, oh, you're fine.
Your body is like,
Oh no! No, my God! Oh my God!
I'm using it wrong. I'm like, no.
Well, that's great because you have this intonation in your voice of that, wicked, but you're saying, oh my God.
It's smiling in your face like, pink.
If you think about it, a lot of the terms that we do use that mean wonderful actually have these sort of literally, like in America in the 90s, killer was a word that a lot of people use.
Really?
It's, not high class people. But a lot of people say, yeah, that was killer, man. Killer is quite a vicious word, actually.
Can only think of awesome, which is also quite awful.
But also
terrific.
Terrific.
Terrific, really terrible?
No, terrific. Well, it's rooted to the same word as terrible, but in a positive way. Something's terrific.
Anyway, we're not here about
talking about
words, toilets, art. But language can be art. I mean, art.
Well, art is communication, as we said earlier.
Yeah. But there was a really, I really loved an exhibit also in the Museum of Modern Art in Frankfurt, which was all about words, and there was sort of blocks coming out into the room, and you had the words written on like that, so they would mean different things depending on which side you would stand. In German as well, where you have the stem of the word, and then you put something else in front of it, and then it makes a different word. So you had it meant the opposite if you stood like that, and then and that fluidity of meaning and of of it becoming an object in space, but being a concept. I really like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to ask you a question regarding this. A friend of mine is a choreographer of sorts. I was talking to him about language and art, and he totally protested to the idea that dance is a language, but dance is something completely beyond. There's no grammar. There's no.
Yeah. But ballet, classical ballet, there is a grammar about it. There is, if in classical ballet, this movement it means something, and it means something for everybody. But in contemporary dance, this movement for me is something. For you is another thing. And everybody go to see any show because of your own experience, life experience. You see the same show and you're not seeing the same thing than your neighbor. And so that's good thing about it. There is no official language about it. So you just do something with your feeling. You just submit.
Is it improvised then?
No, but it can be. But no, usually it's really set. Everything is really set. But you just go there and don't have any expectation. Some people go there and try to have a story, but there's no story. You just receive some feeling. You see some colors, you see some movement, and that means go back in your own background or everything, and you feel something about it. It's the experience. That's it. You don't need to search or try to find a real idea about it. Clear or not?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a bit like the same movement in art as well, like where you
in visual art.
In visual art where you go from the storytelling or like something it represents something and you break it down into color and form and
we call sort of free form style, I guess we could say, in the sense of something where you have complete freedom beyond any defined rules or laws, but you have just the material, or in dance, the movement, which you can use freely to express a sense which is much deeper than language itself.
That's why I used to be actually studying theater, and I feel dance. I can tell more with dance than with word.
It's interesting because we're working on this dance piece at the moment, and we're starting off with words. So we're working on a text. We're working on Utopia, which is small, and we're getting words from it that we think are important, and then we get the dancers to find a movement that for them represents that word. And then we actually use the term vocabulary. We have the movement vocabulary, and then everybody teaches each other their movement, and then we put it together in. So it is that way. It's a language, or it's the same idea of language, but it's not universal. So it's like our language in the group because we made it up. And
it's interesting, and I think there's a lot of human movements and expressions and things that, despite the fact that they may differ in different countries, different gestures mean different things. There's you can tell what someone's saying so much of that. I think the percent that we communicate without words is much higher than that with words. Just last night I watched Sunset Boulevard. Have you seen this? It's an early black and white Billy Wilder film.
Don't think I have.
And it's about the era of Hollywood when silent films sort of become obsolete and language comes in and dialogue comes in. And there's a few times in the film where people are saying that words are what have destroyed the expression of cinema. There's too many words now. The real acting, the real cinema is dead. Sort of. Of course, that was in the very early stages of cinema, but it was interesting.
I think carelessness maybe as well, or like restrictions, how you have restrictions such as you can't use language, and then that makes you very careful with the way you use your body, your facial movement, all that, because you have to communicate without the words, and that makes it very good, very carefully done.
But the funny thing is, after the silent film, the noise comes onto the film, and none of the past director could work on the voice, because they don't get used to it, so they have to bring some theater people to shoot the film. Because they can use all the thing, they can stay somewhere and they can use a voice.
So early film actors didn't